we're from True Searchers Paranormal Investigators.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's a certified paranormal investigator, and I'm a certified paranormal investigator's apprentice. So ultimately, what we're trying to do here today is get an understanding between any similarities or correlation between paranormal activity and, say, for example, superheroes or people that go to comic conventions. So you guys are in a little bit of cosplay today. Could you mind telling us about that?
I'm just cosplaying in Nagito Komaeda from Danganronpa 2. That's pretty much, it's like a kind of horror type game. I don't know. That's pretty much it, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just an original character. I mean, just a giant animal.
Is that hot in there?
Did you make that?
No.
No? Okay.
Would you mind just putting it on for a second? For,
So it's original in the sense that that's the only one?
Yeah,
Or?
it's the only one like this character.
Okay, so someone handmade it specific.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Could I?
Does
could
it
you
have?
just check yourself out in the mirror here.
Does your character have a name?
Roxas.
Roxas? Okay.
What do you imagine Roxas being?
He's just a giant fox. I mean, he's kind of grumpy, so.
A grumpy fox? Okay. Grumpy by choice, or did something happen? Yeah? You don't imagine anything occurred in Roxas' life?
I don't know. He's not really a developed character. I mean, so.
Okay.
Persona is just a bunch of crabs that landed on Earth, and the first human they saw was a fursuiter, and so in order to assimilate, they made a fursuit. But they actually a bunch of crabs from the crab nebula, which is a real place.
Okay. Inhabited by crabs, really?
Yeah, it's just a place in the nebula called the crab nebula.
So yours is a well-developed character.
Kinda, it's just a whole bunch of nonsense. That's the point.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to make as little sense as possible. It's not that one. I made that one. But
Right.
my character's like that.
Are these two any sort of relation?
No, we met
Okay.
at the con. I made that.
Okay. It looks a little similar.
They all just dogs.
True Searchers Paranormal Investigators.
Gabe
Back
Mathews. We're here at the South Carolina Comicon. We're doing the reflective test. We believe that there's a lot of spirits here that cannot be seen, but through mirrors, they can be seen everywhere. And we believe that spirits are more prone to come and congregate in places that there's more believers and more people. So therefore, by using the reflective test, we should be able to see an entity. I met Eric several years ago at a workshop in Belgium. He sat silent during the entire workshop. And when it was over, he announced that he was my ride to Amsterdam. I was exhausted and wanted to sleep, but once we were on our way, he said, "Let me tell you about myself." At that point, I found the prospect about as appealing as a stick through my eye. You see it?
No, what did she say next?
Nevertheless, I said, "Okay, you've got my attention," and to this day, I am grateful for his insistence. Did you notice any, paranormal phenomena here at the convention center?
I noticed spirits in the form of how they manifest in the minds of human beings.
So manifestations in the mind.
Yeah. Well. No. Basically, spirits are like supernatural. They're like from the spiritual world that's all around us at the same time that we inhabit the zone, and that's how I feel about it. And spirits manifest in the way we feel, based on the things we do, the experiences we've had in the past, and they culminate in certain individuals based on whichever way we tend to lean through our feelings and how we view, whether it could be a good spirit, a bad spirit, a good spirit that does this or a good spirit that does that.
Do you think superheroes are paranormal?
They could be. I guess it just depends on the upbringing, the initial universe that they're fought in. Because I mean, sometimes there's always just that this guy touched something nuclear, he's got powers. There's never that whole this guy was in a haunted house, something possessed him, now he's,
What is a superpower, would you say?
superpower.
Yeah. If you could have any superpower you would want to have, what would it be?
If I could have any superpower that I wanted to, probably, honestly, it sounds a little lame, but not to have anxiety.
Not to have anxiety.
That would be a superpower.
So, would you rather not have anxiety or and poverty.
Because I mean, anxiety is manageable. I take medication for it.
Said like something message at the same time that we heard scratching noises, and then we started freaking out because we said we heard the same thing at the exact same time. And
From ventilation in our home.
yeah, from ventilation in our home, under the floor.
At the exact same time.
And you guys live together?
No, we don't.
We
Different
live
houses. Like,
across the neighborhood.
yeah.
Okay, so two places in the same neighborhood.
Not in the same neighborhood. Like,
Okay,
miles
two
away.
separate neighborhoods.
Yeah, like within like
Same scratching
within 2 miles
noises.
of each other, but at the exact same time, exact same noise.
Yeah.
The exact like a similar.
And there's nothing that we can attribute that to anything except paranormal, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have no clue, and it's been reoccurring over and over.
10 years before Eric's entire life had crashed, two business partners with whom he was trying to get a couple of business adventures, with whom he was trying to get a couple of business, I read the same line again, off the ground, and announced that they had decided to no longer wanted to work with him because, are you seeing anything, Kyle?
I don't, wait. No, not yet.
Because they were 2 against 1, he could not do much about their decision. They made him a settlement offer. He could take the equivalent of $35,000 in cash, or alien, animal,
Our main character is just a bunch of crabs that landed.
a bunch
on
of
Earth.
crabs landed on
And
Earth.
the first human they saw was a person in a fursuit. So
Okay.
in order to assimilate to human culture, they just made a fursuit.
Gotcha. So it's a crab alien,
Just a bunch of crabs.
bunch of crabs. So
Sentient crabs.
sentient crabs who have powers.
No, they just know how to.
They know how to simulate to forms.
They could
They
probably-
can shapeshift. Shape-shifting crabs.
No, there's just a bunch of them packed in there.
Oh, it's multiple.
No, it's like about
Communities.
a thousand crabs
So-
packed up into it.
So if you get enough crabs, you can assimilate to another character.
I guess.
Within
Okay.
a skin suit.
It's not like skin suit. It's like just fabric. Like imagine if just crabs from the beach were able to be sentient and
Yeah.
capable of human thought, and somehow held needles and sewed a suit.
I would say that's paranormal. You're having an experience now and a feeling now. Can you describe that?
Yeah, I'm having a feeling now in that it's really rare to get to explain that kind of view, and I mean, I don't know what to say about that. It just kind of popped up on me.
So, whenever you have a feeling like that, can you imagine anything that brings that on or causes that change to happen from not feeling to feeling or not being receptive?
I think it's more like rather than the spirits being a beacon for us to walk into, we're more like the beacon for the spirits. So
we're all just beacons here right now with possible antennas,
right,
with some
Right.
kind of energy.
right,
Sorry,
something
yeah.
like that.
He could have all the stock in the company the mutual owned, which was actually worthless.
Watch for that, kid. Watch for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Stunned, Eric left the office and went home. As he entered the house, he said to his wife, "I need to tell you something." To which he replied, "I need to tell you something too. I want a divorce. I've met something else. Someone else." That's
Did you
very
meet
good.
someone or something?
Someone. You were interested in talking to a paranormal investigative team. So is there anything that sparked your mind as soon as you heard paranormal investigation?
Yeah, back Black Friday 3 years ago, we were at my mom's house waiting on them to wake up and get ready and whatnot. And that kid right there, actually, whenever he was 4, I think it was,
Okay.
something like that. It was a while back. He was in his room, and he was sitting asleep, and there was a lady talking to him. You could hear him responding to her, and went in there, and nobody was there.
And there's no old lady in the house? Okay.
And it was the same voice that back in like I think 1993, whenever my brother was born, my parents used to live in a house and they swore up and down that it was him.
Same house?
No, this is a
Different house.
but same entity, I guess you could say.
Okay, same old
Yeah,
female. Okay.
old female. He was. They could hear her singing in his bedroom. Whenever they put up a camera, one night the camera was pushed to the side, and you could hear singing, and they got it on tape.
You think that this spirit was someone that you knew, or is
I
it?
think it was like my grandma, because she
Okay.
died right before my brother was born.
I had a similar experience. My grandpa died before I was born, but one time I definitely thought I saw him.
Yeah.
And heard him, and then talking to the mom and seeing pictures, it's like that was my grandpa looking over me.
The figure that I had saw was probably about 7 feet tall and just entirely shadowy, like no discernible figure, no shape, no face shape, just
A definition shadow figure.
yeah, shadow figure.
I believe I saw the same thing.
Yeah,
We
you
went to
said
different,
we saw the same thing around when we were eating dinner.
we went to different corners of the room. We gave each other paper. We didn't describe it at all up until this point, and we both drew
What we
essentially the exact same
Yeah.
thing.
Can you describe what you saw?
What I saw, taller than me, taller than them. It was
Against the wall towards my mom. He said that it was like up to like a painting on the wall.
it was dark. It was like I wouldn't describe it as a shadow. I would describe it as like a lack
A lack
of
of
light. Essentially,
anything, yeah.
a lack of
Right. And how could a lack of light create a shadow?
It's really weird.
I met Eric several years ago at a workshop in Belgium. He sat silent during the entire workshop, and when it was over, he announced on my ride to Amsterdam. Oh, you think I'd have this memorized by now?
I know, it's so good.
He announced that I was exhausted and wanted to sleep, but once we were on our way, he said, "Let me tell you all about myself."
Gabe, I'm gonna get a baseline. Baseline temperature check. 85?
I'm gathering no EMF right now.
85? Just gonna. 88 in the car. Do you believe in superheroes?
I believe that we create superheroes to kind of compel us to move in a certain direction, like whether it's for the good of humanity or for the bad of humanity. Sometimes you need an example of a bad person to put yourself against, to know how to confront that. When you come across something like that in real life, whether it's just you need courage or like say for instance, the difference between bravery and fearlessness. I learned that from He-Man. To be brave means that you're going to face your fear rather than to be fearless.
Yeah.
You know
Makes
what I'm
sense.
saying? So we do this to instill ourselves with valuable lessons that we've pretty much done this throughout all the history of mankind.
I've learned a lot of
this is kind of
my
like
morals through like 80s cartoons, He-Man, Thundercats,
Right.
TMNT. There's a lot of morals that they put into the shows to teach kids,
And
to
this
have
is how
good.
we kind of become those antennas where we attach spirits to us, whether it's a good spirit or a bad spirit. Someone that might have a latent inner, darkness.
Yeah.
That might go towards the villain. Someone who wants to be the hero might be Goku or, Superman, you know what I'm saying?
So there's evil spirits and there's good spirits, and different antennas people attract the different energies that can kind of guide you towards being a villain or a hero.
Yes.
How tall would you say?
Well, the counter was up to here, and it was about up to
Yeah,
here.
it was about.
And this is in your house?
in my house.
In your house? You saw it. You guys are both together at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
It was at my house.
Yeah. This was about 2 hours apart when I saw it, when they saw it, and I felt it before they saw it.
And how long have you guys known each other?
Years.
Yeah, years.
Years.
3 years now.
Do you think there's some event or something that may have caused some paranormal linkage?
I remember the first time we went over to my house, we used a Ouija board. We thought it was very scary, and we may
Okay.
have opened something up there. We don't know.
Okay, we have no idea what it was. We just know that when we use it, we ended up talking to something, and we asked if it would leave because it had told us it was hostile. We asked if it would leave, and then it said no. And I kid you not, this is like something out of a horror movie. It's so cheesy, but all of the lights in the house cut out and the TV went static. His mom was sitting in the living room, and she freaked out. And
Electrical disturbances. Can you give me a mic check?
Yeah,
Make
it's
sure
just-
we're not picking up too much.
I mean, it's hard to. We're getting audio.
Is it getting something?
Yeah, I mean, it's picking it up
Is
for
it
sure.
getting too much residual? Door, perhaps?
Well, it's picking it up. It's yeah. We'll have to edit and post, or we'll have to see something.
I just want to lose it. Gabe, you're talking about your dead grandfather. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. When I was a child, I actually was sleepwalking, and I walked into the living room, and then I must have I got on the couch where I normally lay, and I woke up, and first I was in a weird spot, and then I looked over in the chair and I saw an apparition of what I didn't know what it was, I guess, at the time, but then later kind of piecing everything together, it was my grandfather, I believe. Have you guys had any encounters with any cryptids or?
One of my friends has had an encounter with a Wendigo.
A Wendigo?
Really? Like a proper Native American. Okay.
Do you know more about the story?
Yeah. Could you, for other people that don't know Wendigos, could you tell us a little bit more about that?
I really don't know much about it, but pretty much my friend Danny was freaking out. I don't know if he was tripping on something, but he was home alone and he heard his mother say his name coming from outside. Well, he looked in the window and it was a Wendigo.
Wow. You saw the form.
Yeah.
Wow. Like antlers and the whole form. Okay. Interesting. Very cool. Right, and Wendigo, from a Native American understanding that they can imitate human voice, so hearing the actual
Wasn't Wendigos
species.
usually seen as women and then later on changed to be seen as deer, so seeing it as the new version of what a Wendigo is make it invalid? Wouldn't you, seeing a cryptid in the original form of what it was described as, make it more legit?
I believe
A Wendigo as a woman, not they were make it as a native saw them.
Perhaps, yeah. I think, and there's also the concept that perhaps there were two species that existed,
Yeah.
and maybe they were misclassified as one.
Some people call them Wendigos, and then other people call them
To
something
be honest,
else.
most people don't realize that point of view of a Wendigo, and that's why I think even today we kind of go back to the original formation
Maybe it was
as
just
like
deer
a.
on them.
Yeah. I don't even want to be like a.
Or possibly a shape-shifting Wendigo.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just
naturally.
one big cryptid that shapeshifts into everything.
Moths and or deer and or women.
Bigfoot. Are women cryptids?
No. You said from a Wendigo form
Oh,
of
yeah.
being a woman.
Yeah, or ghoul woman.
At that point, I found the prospect about as appealing as a stick through my eye. Nevertheless, I said, "Okay, you've got my attention," and to this day, I'm grateful for his insistence.
I'm attracted to comedy, so I came as Rick Sanchez.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I haven't seen the show. I've heard it's really good.
I've been telling him about it.
Yeah, there's.
It is really good. I mean, my personal views definitely do not align with the show
Okay.
at all, but
Because you
it
believe
is
in
a
science,
comedy.
or you don't believe in science.
I believe science is the language of God. Mathematics is the language of God.
Yeah.
And
Can you
so-
tell us more about that?
Well, it's just like, ancient geometry.
Sacred geometry?
Sacred
Yeah.
is just a form of mathematics. Everything has a mathematic grid to us. This human body has a mathematic grid. Everything is comprised of numbers.
Okay.
When you get down to the bare basics of what things are, from atoms to the number of people in civilization, everything has a set number to it.
So, do you believe in? Would you align yourself more with Judaism?
Judeo-Christian, yes.
Judeo-Christian?
Yeah.
Not specifically Judeo.
Not specifically. I am a Christian, but I believe that we are indebted our beliefs to the Jewish people.
Okay.
Because they were put there so that we could have Jesus Christ as a Savior.
Hey Gabe, whenever you say you saw your grandfather, the image of your grandfather, was it as you saw in pictures? Because you said you had never met.
Well, he died before I was born.
Right.
It's a vague memory, but I think I did see, kind of similar to what I saw in the photo.
So the form of your grandfather was.
It was like an apparition. It's like an apparition. Like I could see him, but I could almost see through him as well. But it was like a visible, like humanoid apparition.
There's something there.
Yeah, like I could tell it was there, and then it was like kind of gone quickly too. And he kind of had like a mahogany color. I don't know. Yeah. So. In the spring of 1984, I was invited to attend a fairly exclusive Midwest conference, not because of my intuitive abilities, but as a publisher at Stillpoint, which was still my main occupation. During the conference, I met a psychologist who pointed out Norm Shealy to me. For no apparent reason, he said, "I see that man over there. He was a physician who has an interest in medical intuitives. I became incredibly nervous, but I decided to approach Dr. Shealy and tell him that I was medically intuitive. Do you mind if I just see if there's any EMF on any readings?
I'm gonna get a temperature check.
It's kind of weak. Have you guys had anything to hear today, or do you think it's just
not today?
No?
This was a while ago.
Right.
But as for the shadow figure we were talking about, when we were walking to the kitchen before we started talking about anything, before I'd seen anything, when we stepped like immediately out of the hallway into the main room, it was like at 5-degree change. Like it was insane. I was like, this is so much colder.
Can you describe what you saw?
Again, it was probably like 7 feet tall, a skinny figure. You couldn't really see the body shape because it looked like cloaked, very undefined, but it was shadowy, nothing, like, void, like
Blurry shadow.
But it wasn't really blurry though, because I could very clearly make out the shape of a tall, male-looking
Very,
figure.
very well-defined shadow.
Silhouette was very defined.
Yeah.
Did it look like a goat?
No, it didn't look like a duck or anything.
It didn't look like a goat?
It looked like it looked very like unsettlingly human, just very tall. It looks almost like a Dementor from Harry Potter.
And numbers are a creation of God. They're His language that He made to manifest reality. Everything depends on the mindset that creates what math is. To simply exist. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like it's like Satan always just does. All he does is always copy God, and he always tries to throw some reverse aspect or some reverse opinion onto it, and that's how I feel about the matter. So I mean, like really, like even the number, like my name, grammatically lines up to the number 66. I don't think that means I'm a devil worshiper. Right.
Also, it's only 2 6s, so it's not 3.
Yeah, but I mean, like some people got, but even if it was, you know.
Some cultures actually believe 6 is a positive.
Well, in China, 666 is
positive.
the lucky number.
Right, yeah.
It's the major lucky number in China.
Yeah.
So, there are a lot of cultures that believe in that. In Christianity, you know, it's 7.
Yeah.
777.
We were kind of theorizing that Comic-Cons would have more paranormal energy here than other places. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I have one just like it.
I've never experienced it myself either, but I mean, like, I know like a lot of these buildings.
Yeah.
I stuff like that.
But at the same time, there's always those people that couldn't make it out or something.
Sure.
You know, spirits that travel with people.
Right.
I've never experienced it, so I can't speculate.
Has it been recurring?
Well, I was actually talking to someone in Louisiana, and he told me that he had seen something similar in a dream. And then my sister said that she had dreamed of something similar.
Do you think there's something in common with all you, that there's some type of paranormal linkage?
I have no idea.
Does it have anything to do with Comic-Con today?
I don't think so. But
No. Okay. Unlikely. Okay.
Comic-Con's been a very nice experience.
Yeah, I think this was an amazing experience.
Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Could you say that again? Sorry.
I think it was an amazing experience.
Well, could you tell us Comic-Con was an amazing experience?
Comic-Con was a very amazing experience.
I met Eric several years ago at a workshop in Belgium. He sat silent during the entire workshop, and when it was over, he announced that he was my ride to Amsterdam. I was exhausted and wanted to sleep, but once we were on our way, he said, "Let me tell you about myself." At that point, I found the prospect about as appealing as a stick through my eye. Nevertheless, I said, "Okay, you've got my attention," and to this day, I am grateful for his insistence.
But you had mentioned something about a cell phone wave out of the peripheral vision of people.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It just looked like someone had a white screen and
In a dark room.
It was like around a corner and it went like that. And that's all I saw.
Because you were looking different. If Gabe was you, which direction were you looking?
Okay, I was probably facing this way. The corner was right here, so it'd be like if Gabe had stepped over a bit and moved like right there, like right where the boom light was. Sorry. So
Over here?
yeah, slightly lower.
Slightly lower?
Yeah, like right there.
If this was the shadow,
Yeah, if this was the light that it moved.
this was the light that moved. Like this.
And I'm you?
No, I'm facing you.
Okay.
You're Connor. And then the light came from
I'm
that
Connor
way.
because you were up against the sink.
Yeah, I was
and I
leaning
was up
this
against
way.
the fridge.
You were leaning against the couch. Yeah.
Connor, do you want to be?
Yeah.
You be Connor. What was your name?
Alex.
You be Alex.
So
Gabe is the shadow.
Gabe is not here.
I'm not here now. I'm sorry. I'll get out of the picture.
You are the light.
I'm the light.
Coming from the right.
Yeah.
And just like barely in my field of vision, but enough where I clearly saw something, and I stood up and I went and I peered around the corner to look and see.
Right, because you were near the corner. And you didn't see it at all.
I felt something. I felt chill.
But that's not the experience you had with the shadow figure. You
It
had
happened.
another.
It happened at the same time as the shadow.
I was just realizing that I didn't have the mirror right in the position. Can I just stand on the other side of you? Do you mind if we do some of that again? So, this is True Searchers, Paranormal Investigators. This is Gabe Mathews. My name's Kyle Jones.
Maybe just kind of summarize what you said, just in more of a finite amount, of more concise, like the energies and how the antennas and how the sacred geometry, and just kind of more concise and finite. We reorder our lives when we choose spirit over the illusions of physical circumstances. With each choice we make, we either become more involved in this illusory physical world, or we invest energy into the power of spirit. Each of the 7 chakras represent a different version or manifestation of one essential lesson. Each time we choose to enhance our internal power, we limit the authority of the physical world over our lives, bodies, health, mind, and spirits. From an energy point of view, every choice that enhances our spirit strengthens our energy field, and the stronger our energy field, the fewer our connections to native people and experiences.
I wish Mothman was real.
I've actually known people who have encounters with the Mothman, so what would you say to those people who've seen the Mothman?
I mean, I'd like to hear what they have to say. I don't disbelieve it or believe it. It's cool. I just,
Right.
I wish I could believe it. There's no evidence leading up to anything.
Yeah. So what would get you to believe that Mothman
Seeing
is
it.
real? Seeing it. So you'd have to see it. Like, stories don't
It's
validate.
too good to be. I have no way of knowing if an image is real or not. So
Yeah.
if I saw it, I'd be.
What about the situations of like the bridges collapsing, or the
Yeah.
like Mothman being responsible for?
If he is, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If Mothman were to be real, would he build like cocoons?
I don't think it's clear how human / moth he is. What he can do and what he can't do between like human and moth stuff, I guess.
Potentially moth people, right? Male, female.
Yeah. I imagine colonies of
Procreation.
moth people
And,
that'd be
continuation of
all
species.
about.
Within a cryptid sense. So,
Wait, who's Mothman's dad?
right?
What came first, the cocoon or the moth?
Moth be fucking.
Basically, starting with numbers, I believe that God created everything, and that like basically our perception of math is like trying to figure out how he did it all. And everything has a precise number, just like this body has there's a number to the grid, there's a number to your grid, there's a number to your grid, to the grid, there's a building, that to the trees, everything around us.
Are you
everything
able to
is,
tell us what our numbers are?
No, this is what I believe.
And you said yours was 66?
Well, that's to my name.
Oh, gotcha.
That, right. If you add up, like, because in Hebrew, every letter has a name. So we took that over to English, and basically, like, my name adds up to the 66 in the number.
Penny had been married for 18 years to a man with whom she had a business partnership. She was the brains of the operation. She was also an alcoholic, a condition that suited her husband just fine because she was an alcoholic too. He wanted her to drink because Penny, semi-conscious, gave him more control in the marriage and business.
I get y'all's thing. I don't really understand how people have anything to do with paranormal stuff. People who are more interested in weird stuff are probably more drawn to weird stuff.
I don't think it's drawn to. I think it's actually that the spirits talk to those that are receptive to it. And I think that sometimes whenever there are negative spiritual encounters, that's someone that might be closed off to the concept of speaking to the paranormal. So here today specifically, we imagine that there are more spiritual, like paranormal activity, simply because more people are receptive to it. I think that if the voices are calling out, people tend to listen.
Not too dissimilar to like childs see more paranormal activity because they're more receptive to the idea of it, and then as you get older, you like actively, or people tell you, oh, it's not real or this and that, so you like don't even have the perception. So you may have a paranormal experience as an adult, but you're already closed off to the idea. Like you could have an actual paranormal encounter and just write it off as being not paranormal, even because you're just closed off to the idea.
The other theory is like, like children seem to see more paranormal, and it's because they're open to it. And as they get older, people tell them, oh no, this isn't real, this doesn't exist. So they then find another reason to not believe, whereas what they see or what they think, so they're turned off. And so an adult may have an actual paranormal experience, but just because of other people tell them that's not paranormal, they find a reason to not believe what they saw was paranormal.
They kind of just brush it off.
Right. And we believe that people at Comicon, because they are more imaginative and more or more perceptive and open-minded to stranger experiences. So that's just one of the theories we're kind of rolling with and talking around to people. I don't know if you have anything to say on that or any thing here specifically at Comicon.
But like they do manifest.
Can you talk about the antennas? Because you mentioned the antenna.
Right.
Yeah.
With the antennas, what I was saying is basically we invite spirits into us as if we are a reception antenna for those spirits to come into, and that goes to all the things that are going on, like even the swords. The fake this is an idea that is based off some spirit.
And what is that? That's
the portal gun from Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Where he goes through time and space, interdimensional travel. Which would, this would technically, I guess, be an evil spirit.
To build off a little bit more, what we've found is that if Gabe and myself, for example, if we go to visit a paranormal site, we're trying to recreate someone else's story. So ultimately, what we'd like to do, and what we've been successful with, is finding individuals and then going and investigating their stories. So with them, with the two of us on our team, we found that there's a better chance of capturing that experience or recreating that experience from a paranormal understanding.
And one thing that we've been wanting to do is if someone saw a cryptid creature in a certain area, to go with them and investigate that specific, and if they had a story or something related to it, it'd be so cool to like go on, and knowing that there's evidence or something happened in a specific area would make us want to go there more.
Right, exactly. And Gabe and I don't condone the use of drugs, and Gabe doesn't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
We're tobacco-free by choice.
That you will fully develop your own intuitions. The intuitive residency I did with Norm, a Harvard-educated neurosurgeon and founder of the American Holistic Medical Association, gave me the ability to work as a professional. Anyone who can benefit from the following reaches. I lost my spot.
Reaches.
The idea of a medical intuitive residency program would have seemed fairly outrageous a decade ago, yet as society has, are you getting anything, Kyle? Has since become more and more open to medical treatments such as the use of ancient knowledge and energy flow around the human body, including acupuncture, acupressure, and Chai Ching, among others.
So what's this say?
Oh, this was a.
It's a celestial spirit mirror.
Okay.
This was a ritual spirit board used by, I think it was formerly witch-owned or former cannibal-owned.
Yeah.
Owned
Yeah.
by a former cannibal or.
Well, current
by a
or cannibal, not former.
Well, I guess a cannibal.
It wouldn't be former, because if
Not a
once
former
you eat somebody, you're always a cannibal. So it wouldn't be former. It's
right.
a current cannibal, but he doesn't own it, so it's a former cannibal.
Well, that would have the spirit of the cannibal
Perhaps.
within.
Right. So the belief being that if entities don't aren't perceived in daylight, they would show up in the form of a reflection. So we are performing some tests to determine the reflective capabilities and whether
reflective test.
Yeah.
Reflective test. Okay. I think I'm trying to understand that a little bit, but.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Probably. I don't know. Batman, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. You like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just wondering.